Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chalk Talk here on DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Chris Halicke. We're going to be going through one of the consistent issues that's kind of going on with this offense. Well, actually, a couple, because Aaron Rodgers said after the game, separation is an issue with the receivers, but we consistently see that the middle of the field is just not being attacked. So there was like one pass completed over the middle. I don't even have that here because we're trying to find out what the problems are. And so I got 6 plays here we're going to go through really quick. This is not going to be an insanely long video. I know I say that just about every time, but it's really not, because it doesn't take much to see what's going on here. First play, they move Austin in motion here. This is a third down early in the game. This might have been the first third down. One thing I want you to see, okay, so we got 2 high here. So looks like it's going to be middle field open. You see the safeties are kind of like shaded over in that direction. That's because they're playing to the passing strength of the formation. That's where, you got, this is a 3-by-1 formation, okay? You have 3 eligibles here, 1, 2, 3, only 1 there. So that's why the safeties are, again, they're kind of shading in this direction. But you'll notice this safety, he's not going to abandon DK. He immediately goes over. They are playing, one defender on him underneath, safety over the top. They're doubling DK. That's what teams have been doing all season long. When you look at what's going on here with Roman and Calvin, teams will constantly do this, thing where, the first receiver will run out and kind of try to clear for the trailing receiver, right? So what Calvin's trying to do is trail behind Roman and then go out on his break. The problem is that this defender doesn't really fall for it, and he just kind of jams Calvin at the inside the 5 yards, and that really just derails Austin's entire route. And this is the issue with Austin: is yes, he is fast, and when he is given room, he can create separation because he's quick, he's fast, he's agile. But when this kind of stuff happens, there's no chance of separation whatsoever. So Roman goes and he runs his corner route, but he's got this corner on him. This safety is coming up over the top, so Roman's completely taken out of the equation. Darnell's not really going out for a pass. He's blocking just in case they check down to Gainwell, which honestly, that's probably the play here. This is third down. I understand it's third and long, but, also, Rodgers isn't necessarily been given the most amount of time. That pocket is collapsing and collapsing quickly. And so his best bet that he's trying to think here is that Austin's eventually going to win against this guy. Ideally, if Rodgers had a little bit more time, he'd be able to see that, nope, that's not there. Then I can just check it down to Gainwell because, Gainwell's got Darnell blocking, and there's nobody else, no other defender that's actually looking in that direction. So Gainwell could have been able to catch and just run and possibly get the first down, because he's pretty good at that. That doesn't happen. So, and instead, like this throw ends up being, it's a little short. You'd like to kind of throw that over the top a little bit, but under pressure. But again, this kind of starts with Austin not getting separation at the very beginning, getting jammed, having the whole route derailed. That's a problem. It's been a consistent problem. Next play here. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so this is the go route to Roman Wilson. Now, Aaron Rodgers took like the blame for this play after the game. He said it was I'm not going to repeat the word because I don't want to get demonetized by YouTube, but he said it was a crappy throw. All right. I like the quarterback taking responsibility, and Rodgers is absolutely taking responsibility for his play. He's not been great over the past few weeks. His quarterback play has diminished. No question about that. However, I'm not so quick to blame Rodgers on this. I'm just not. I've never, so Roman Wilson right here, he is running a go route, okay? I mean, outside release everything. So you get the initial step, he outside releases this. Very, 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 very few times do you see a go route that starts. Then with an outside release, bend back to the inside. You just don't see it that often. It doesn't happen that often. Usually, especially with the outside release, you will see the receiver try to run along what is known as the red line. What's the red line? Well, we've had this conversation on this channel here before, and for those who might not be familiar, the red line is this line that are on all NFL practice fields that run parallel to the sideline. It's a little closer to the sideline that I'm showing here, but I'm trying to illustrate. It is a red line that is painted 5 yards from the sideline, and receivers are taught to run along this line when they are running a go route. Why is that? Well, if the quarterback has the added room, has this 5-yard window right here to throw in, then what he can do is he can layer this throw over the top to the outside so that the receiver can adjust, use that extra room. Pretty much it opens up the window a little more for the quarterback on a go route. If he runs just along the sideline, the window is very, very, very tight. And that makes it really, really hard on the quarterback. Therefore, you have this red line. Receivers run along it. It gives the quarterback more room. And when you see the way this ends up playing out, Roman runs, right there, I would say he's running along the red line. But notice that he is definitely bending that closer. Like he gets around the defender and he wins. I mean, Roman wins this. I'm not taking anything away from him here. He runs this and he wins it. He's past his receiver. And Rodgers looked off the safety enough to be able to create the window. But Roman, when he first wins this, he starts to kind of bend this back toward the seam just ever so slightly, when in reality, he probably needs to be running this and kind of almost bending it to the outside, kind of going into that window between the red line and the sideline. That's usually what you see. And Roman doesn't see that early enough. He's bending this to the inside. Rodgers' ball is going where that would normally go. He's thrown this throw 1,000,000 times in his career. That's why I'm not so quick to just say this is a crap throw from Rodgers. He may say it himself, and that's admirable for him to do so. But this ball literally lands. I mean, it lands like on the yard markers on the sideline. How many times have you seen that when you're watching football and the receiver catches it right along the sideline? He doesn't run along the sideline the whole time, but he ends up on the sideline because the quarterback uses that room from the red line. All right, enough red line talk. Next play. We get a play action here. Yeah, so this is one of those ones, and I'm not saying I've seen this on social media, but this is one of those ones where you're going to see Darnell Washington. Oh, by the way, really, really quick, I meant to point this out. This third down play, there's not one route that's attacking the middle of the field. I forgot to point that out. Not one route attacking the middle of the field. Not one. I'm sorry, you got Metcalf down here way away from the play, bending to the inside, standing no chance. But still, this is a barren wasteland right here. All right, let's go back forward. Next play. So we do get Darnell Washington running this little basic here. And people will fast forward, oh, look at that. Darnell Washington's open and Aaron Rodgers isn't seeing him. So what actually happens here is Metcalf is running the out route here. Rodgers wants to throw it. And he's about to. Like, you see the separation there, and then he sees Metcalf actually stumbles out of the route, and he makes the right decision of not throwing that. Otherwise, if Benford picks that up quickly enough, Benford's number 47, if he picks that up quick enough because Metcalf fell, that's a pick. That's, if not a pick six, it's at least an interception. Because that throw would have gone like right there, and 47 could have absolutely stepped up and gotten that. But people will see, oh, Darnell's open over the middle, and Rodgers just threw it away. Let's actually take a look at the end zone view here. So, here we go. He wants to throw, sees Metcalf has been stumbling. I'm not going to throw it. There's literally no chance. You can see what Rodgers is seeing now. See, when you see the previous view, you see, look at all that room. Oh, I don't know what happened to my color here. You see, look at all that room. That's a clean pocket. In actuality, no, it's not, because you've got this guy who's bearing down on you with his big old hand, his big old mitt, and then there's number 99 who's also rushing that way with not one soul touching him. Rodgers sees that. He absolutely sees that. There's absolutely no shot for him to stand in the pocket and make this throw over the middle. There's no chance. None. You'd like to, but the protection doesn't hold up. So we finally get a route going to the middle, and Washington would have been open. Absolutely would have been open enough in order to do this. But protection doesn't hold up. Don't get the chance to hit it. That would have been a very, very nice hit. Rodgers pretty much throws it away. Live to fight another down. So when you do finally have a route go to the middle, something else screws it up. Right? But even then, it's not the first read. Metcalf was the first read. And couldn't go to the first read because Metcalf slipped. So, sucks. It sucks. Next play, you got Freiermuth going in motion. Oh, yeah, I remember this play. All right. This one I put on Rodgers. This is not a great play. Steelers are running mesh here, so what's going on is Freiermuth is going to go in motion. He's running a wheel route. Running back is running a wheel route here. You've got drag here. You've got Jonnu running the drag here. And then you have Darnell running to the middle of the field and turning around for the hitch. All right, that's what they're running. This is mesh. You can read the mesh concept, which is the Jonnu drag and the Metcalf drag. If it's man, you'll usually see, guys latch on, and at that point, it's try to go with who's open. I mean, they're literally both running into your eyesight, and you're going to be able to see who's open. Now, Jonnu is not tested right away. Metcalf is. Okay? Now, we'll get the end zone view so we can see what Rodgers is looking at. But at no point is Metcalf ever open. He never gets separation here. Now, this side of the formation here is running zone. They are not running man over here. Meanwhile, Benford is absolutely tracking Metcalf. This is absolutely man coverage. So I don't know if Rodgers sees what's over here and he sees that this is only zone over here. But the problem with running mesh against this is that it actually wins because Jonnu springs free. Because there's no man going over there. There's no zone defender that stays in the flat, in the curl flat area. So Jonnu is running wide open. Rodgers doesn't see it, doesn't pick up that only Metcalf is really being man covered. And yeah, he misses the throw. I mean, this is, again, let's look at what Rodgers is looking at. So again, he's looking over to the right. What's going on with my colors here? He's looking over to the right, so he's probably seeing a lot of, looking forward. This is not the posture of man coverage. This is the posture of zone coverage. He's probably seeing zone. So he's probably thinking that this defender is going to pass off Metcalf. So, and then he'll stay and sink into this window while this defender tries to go and pick this up. That's how defenses who run zone play mesh. But if that usually happens, if the receivers are running mesh and they read zone, they will try to sit in the windows, not keep running. But Metcalf, of course, he's not going to sit because he knows he's got a man on him. So he's going to keep running. But again, Rodgers just never sees that, hey, there was no man that went with Jonnu. And there is a man going with Metcalf. He just locks in on Metcalf, tries to throw it there. This would have been a big gainer, man. This would have been a huge gainer. And there was more than enough time in the pocket. So, again, this one I put on Rodgers. There's no denying this one. Mesh, and again, you would have been attacking middle of the field. So it's there, here. Just, yeah, it doesn't happen that often. Next play, I believe this is the sack fumble. This is rough in so many ways. We get, let's see, I believe this is Spencer Anderson right there. Yeah, because you get the eligible here. We got the two tight ends there. Anderson's one, Washington's another. You get the receiver here, or I believe that's actually Gainwell. No, that might be Jonnu. That is Jonnu. And then you get Metcalf over here. You get the play action fake. Okay, I'm fine. Whatever. You want to do play action a first down, that's fine. But at no point, okay, Jalen is right here. Maybe Rodgers just needs to check this down. Live to fight another down, right? Now, McCormick kind of loses pretty quickly. Rodgers has to dodge out of the way. And, yeah, McCormick just keeps losing. I mean, this is Bosa just... he just runs right in between the B gap, right in the B gap there. McCormick gets beat to his right. Rodgers has to dodge out of the way. He thinks he's good. He has to dodge out of the way because Fautanu starts losing contain because the quarterback keeps moving, so the defender adjusts. Of course, the quarterback moves because he's under duress from the initial loss. But notice, outside of Warren, there's nobody open. Again, Rodgers is probably going to watch back the film, and he's probably going to think, I should probably just check that down. Live to fight another down. It's also just, it's not a good concept. And guys aren't open. And then your protection fails. And usually when multiple issues happen, bad things happen like this. Sack, fumble, pick it up, touchdown. It's bad. It's bad. All right, this one here, the Steelers, this is the Jonnu wrong route thing. Bills are in middle field open. You got two high safeties. What the Steelers are running here, now again, Rodgers moves Gainwell in motion. Nobody moves, so he's thinking that this is going to be too high zone. Rodgers gives a signal. Now, I'm not going to try to figure out what the signal is. I have not been told what the signal is. I'm not going to pretend to know what the signal is. Whatever. But one thing I do know is that Rodgers is making the symbol. Roman's looking. Freiermuth is looking. Where's my red? Jonnu's not looking. He does not see the signal from his quarterback. Never looks back. Never sees the signal. What the Steelers are initially running here, what I believe, is an iteration of China, which is this and then the corner route. Now, I'm sure that he checked to something. It's probably a situation where if it's middle field closed, you continue and you run China because you would run away from the safety. If it's middle field open, you then change this to a post. Okay? You want to run to where the defenders aren't. That's the check. Jonnu looks immediately, and he's running the corner route. But Rodgers, again, the big thing here is, and I even got a question from a couple of people, was like, why did he throw it to where nobody was? Again, you want to throw with anticipation at the NFL level. You have to throw with anticipation at the NFL level. And if you're going to do that, you have to be ready to throw before your receiver gets out of his break. Rodgers is starting his throw there. Right there. Jonnu's not out of his break. He's expecting Jonnu to break this way. And Jonnu's breaking to the outside. So the ball's already out before he can even realize Jonnu's breaking to the outside. Because otherwise that ball's going right where Jonnu would have been. And it would have been a touchdown. Most likely. You can see it from this angle here. again, back foot hits. He's looking at Jono the whole way. And he might be thinking that Johnny's trying to like sell this to the outside and then bite to the inside. So that's what he's probably trying to think Jono's doing. So that's why he throws it. Jono goes the other way. Doesn't matter. Incomplete. So it is what it is. This was rough. This was a rough game in a number of ways. But the consistent issues, no separation or very little separation. When there are guys open, there's some sort of lack of detail, or the quarterback and the receiver aren't on the same page, or the concept sucks and nobody's open because the concept sucks, or the pass protection breaks down. These are multiple issues. It's not just the quarterback. It's not just the receivers. It's not just the offensive line. It's not just the offensive coordinator. It's everybody. Everybody is at fault here. I really want to stress that, because people like to stick to narratives. People like to stick on the quarterback thing, like to stick and say Mason Rudolph should be the quarterback, or they need to give Will Howard a chance, or they want to just continue to say Arthur Smith sucks as an offensive coordinator. It's everything right now. Everything. So hopefully this illustrates that for you. And this is just the passing stuff. We haven't even touched the run game, and we haven't even touched the defensive side of the ball, which might be uglier at this point. So, catch you guys on the flippity flip. We'll see you later.